Hi, my name is Mike Kinman. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm the rector of All Saints Church. I'm dropping in to let you know of some things that have happened this week that will impact our worship this Sunday and that will continue to inform us as a community of radical inclusion, courageous justice, joyful spirituality, and ethical stewardship. Earlier this week, two threats were made against All Saints Church for this coming Sunday. One was that there was a bomb placed at the front of the church that would be detonated during Sunday worship, and the other, that someone would come to Sunday worship and use a gun to, quote, kill the pastor of the All Saints LGBTQ ministry church, unquote. As difficult as those words are for me to say, I know they are even more difficult to hear, particularly for those of you who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer. You and many others are unfortunately used to the world not being a safe place. And I know part of the joy you find at All Saints Church is that it is an oasis of safety in the midst of discrimination and violence. So let me say first that you are indispensable to the All Saints community. There is no All Saints community without you, and our first and greatest commitment is to your safety. We're going to be reaching out through our LGBTQ plus ministry to answer any questions or concerns you have and provide resources of support. In the meantime, your clergy staff and lay leaders and really the whole community are available to you to sit with you, pray with you, listen to you, and support you in any way possible. Now, these threats are a part of the current rise in violence and threats against those among us who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer. So they are not unique to All Saints Church, nor is this the first time All Saints Church has come under threat for our value of radical inclusion. And while we realize in the vast majority of cases where violence such as this happens, it is not announced beforehand, we take any threat to the safety of our community, particularly to those who are most vulnerable, extremely seriously. Throughout the week, we have been working with the Pasadena Police Department, City Council members Jason Lyon and Justin Jones, and a member of the All Saints community who is a former FBI agent who worked in the Hate Crimes Division. We've also reached out to our Jewish siblings who have all too much experience with these sorts of threats, and I am particularly grateful to Rabbi Sharon Brous and her staff at ECAR, as well as Jason Dice, Vice President of Community Security for the Jewish Federation of Los Angeles, and Sean Brokos, Director of Community Security for the Jewish Federation of Pittsburgh, who helped see that community through the massacre at Tree of Life Synagogue in 2018, for their generosity in sharing their lived expertise. We have waited to share this information with you because we wanted to make sure the information we shared about the threats and our response was as complete as possible, and so that everyone got the same information at the same time to avoid confusion and reduce anxiety. I am confident after sharing our response with the experts I named that our response is appropriate and comprehensive. As at all times, in a time like this, we lean for support and guidance on the presence of Christ embodied in our core values. I've already talked about the unshakability of our value of radical inclusion. Our value of courageous justice holds us to embody that welcome, not just when it is celebrated and easy, but especially when it comes with risk and cost. There is not a force in heaven or earth that will move us off Christ's embrace of all, and yet each person gets to make a faithful decision about what that value looks like for them. For some, that will look like participating online, and for some, that will look like being in person, as it does every Sunday. That moves us to our value of ethical stewardship and our responsibility for the stewardship of the life and safety of everyone in the All Saints community, especially those who are most vulnerable, and in this case, targeted. Working with the village of experts that have surrounded us in support, we're making some adaptations to keep everyone as safe as possible. As soon as the Pasadena Police Department received the bomb threat, they came to campus and did an extensive sweep, finding nothing even remotely suspicious. From that point on, we have restricted access to the buildings to staff and people known to us attending regularly scheduled activities. Even though the threats were explicitly about Sunday and there is no indication anything during the week is targeted, it's important to us to keep the church, staff, and community safe every day. So we've hired multiple security guards to be on campus when groups are meeting there. Some ministries, such as the LGBTQ ministry and youth group, were shifted online out of an abundance of caution. Others, like senior saints, choir practices, those continued on campus. Additional sweeps of the buildings were made before rehearsals, and access to the buildings was restricted and additional security was present. The memorial services scheduled for Friday and Saturday, as well as drum circle, will go on as scheduled, again, with increased security present. Now, about Sunday. Because Sunday is both the most visible time of the week and because it was specifically named in both threats, we are taking additional measures to protect our community. These measures include, but are not limited to, the following: increased security presence, restricting access to Rega's house for bathroom use only with the entrance monitored by security. Choir, don't worry, you'll be able to get to your rehearsal too. Reducing access to the church only to the 2 doors off the quad lawn, each of which will have a security guard. Asking the Pasadena Police Department to do an additional sweep of the buildings for explosives either Saturday night or early Sunday morning, after which the buildings will be secured. We've also requested a police car to be parked across the street Sunday morning. Moving our excellent forum with Dr. Joy Sales on the fight for human rights in the Philippines online. The Zoom link will be available soon on the live stream page. I really hope you'll tune in. Closing the balcony to public seating and making a few other small changes to increase our ability to monitor the congregation. Because we're especially concerned about protecting our children and youth, we're not going to be having acolytes or inviting the children around the altar this Sunday. Children's Chapel will be online for those parents who wish to stay home with their children. A private link will be sent out to children and families soon. In addition, this morning, the staff went through active shooter training. And we also talked with the members of our community who are part of our Safe Haven program. And they are doing their usual wonderful job of caring for and looking after the church that they also call their home. With these and other steps, we believe, and those with whom we are consulting concur, that we are keeping our community as safe as we can in a fundamentally unsafe world while refusing to let fear and anxiety drive us apart. We want you to have as much information as possible so you can make an informed decision about how you want to join our church service this Sunday, in person or online. If you're shaken by all this information and you're unsure what to do or worried about your loved ones, let this be a friendly reminder to be gentle to yourself. We've got a vibrant online worship experience and community, and if you feel better staying home and participating that way this Sunday, please know that as always, you will be just as present around the table and just as connected by the Spirit as ever. Now that leaves one more value, and that is joyful spirituality. And let me tell you, that value will be in full force this Sunday. Whether you're with us in person or online, we will sing, we will praise God, we will love on each other, and we will celebrate God's binary bursting, empire shaking, violence defeating, wound healing, dance like a drag queen, and sing like you're pounding on your steering wheel love for all God's children. Yes, there will be some things that will be different about this Sunday. And what will be the same is that we will be, as always, All Saints Church, more committed than ever to radical inclusion, courageous justice, joyful spirituality, and ethical stewardship, more committed than ever to the power of love over hate and fear, more committed than ever to the truth that, as Chase says, the sun came out before this storm, and the sun will come out after it, and in the meantime, we can dance in the rain. I love you all. Shalom.